I need to get that lighting taken care of for some reason. Because if you notice right here on the camera, it's like all white, and then over here it just gets darker. Because like I got like outside right here, and if I crack it open because I was looking for better lighting, it's just white that only hits the camera. How's it going? It's another Thursday. It's a Gear Talk time, and I've already said before 100 times how I've already missed like weeks doing this. It's been a month. Yeah, my schedule sucks, but it's a little better. I'm just getting things taken care of on the side, and I want to get these going again. So I sat around trying to think what I should do for a video from here on out, or what I should do for a video series. I've already done the family lineage series, which involved all the families in Gears of War, and I also sat down and thought, well, I'm already doing a character series, so I should keep doing that. But maybe make a mini series inside of it, and just take the next few videos to talk about like that group or something. So I thought about it, and my decision was, why not talk about the Carmines? I already made a video on D. Carmine. I already made a video about the Carmine family in general. Why not just talk about all the boys? Anthony, Fredo, William, Ben, Clay, D. I pretty much got all. Oh, and also Gary and Lizzie as of the new gen. But yeah, why not? Let's talk about Anthony this time. You already saw the thumbnail. You know he's coming up. Also, I thought it would be easiest to start off with, like, the easiest Carmine. Well, the easiest that we've seen physically. Fredo would probably be the easiest to talk about, but Fredo, he was a reporter at Halvo Bay, and he had the Carmine name, and he was stated to be a distant relative. Like, there's your Fredo video. If I actually make a Fredo video, it's going to be, like, 4 minutes long, at most, me making things up. But Anthony, let's talk about him. He is... I can't even say he's the oldest, youngest, or what, because the only person we've ever gotten an actual clarification on for age was Ben. Ben being the youngest of all the Carmines. He was stated to be the squirt. He was the youngest of everybody. Anthony is somewhere in the mid-range, and then Clay, he's either the second oldest or oldest, because we don't know about D at all. So Anthony was more of, I'm going to say, the second youngest of the Carmines. I'll say for now, because we know Ben was youngest and the other two are kind of fighting for who's older. So, Anthony was actually, he seemed like he would have been normally a mid to late 20s kind of person, but he was roughly earlier than that, probably a really early 20, because he was a rookie when we first meet him in the first Gears of War. When we get on the helicopter and there he is shooting down at Locusts, that was within the first year he was ever a Gear. He was a rookie. He was still a private and everything. Private Anthony Carmine was his name. Pretty much the history of Anthony isn't that crazy because we only had him in one game. He's a really big character when it comes to multiplayer. He's well known. People really enjoy Anthony. But again, like, we had him for the first game. He was a part of Delta Squad along with Kim. He was one of the two to get killed a part of Delta, and that just left Dom and Marcus. So I guess we can kind of go through his history about how he ended up to his unfortunate end as a Carmine. So like I said with Anthony, the first time we ever meet him, he is on the helicopter pretty much the moment Marcus gets picked up from pretty much the slap. He gets picked up out of there, and it just so happens there's Anthony on the helicopter with them while they're going to be taking them off to go see Hoffman. Now, I keep wanting to call it a plane. On the helicopter, Anthony notices Marcus, and he says, hey, are you the Marcus Phoenix, the one that fought at Aspio Fields? And since he's a lot younger, and this is a few things I got to clarify right now that the wikis got wrong, since he's younger, he never participated in Aspio Fields. He wasn't a part of that. Pretty much characters that were there and still around are legends to like the younger rookies or the people that just joined the COG. For instance, Anthony thinks it's a really cool thing and like, oh my god, this is a legend right here. When really characters like Bernie, Ty, Dom, Marcus, all of them were at Aspio Fields, and they don't see it like that. They see it as just like, yeah, that was a horrible thing that happened just for us to go and get blueprints for the Hammer of Dawn. That was it. No one was happy about that situation. But to people like Anthony, he sees that as like, oh my god, these legends, these people who went through hell and back. But it's really not like that at all. So once they touch down, they talk to Hoffman. They learn that they have to go through and pretty much the Resonator, everyone who's played Gears knows, you got stuff involving the Resonator, you gotta go and take care of finding, I forget which squad Cole and Baird were a part of, over at the the hall. I can't remember the full name, but yeah, pretty much the plot of Gears of War. So Anthony's with them for quite a while, and Anthony really doesn't have a lot of things to speak about or talk about. You do come to one point where they find another squad that's pretty much a decoy squad, or at least a destroyed squad, and you just see their remains, and Anthony's there tinkering around with one of the devices there, and they ask, hey, is that the resonator we're looking for? And Anthony says, no, this probably ain't it, and he chucks it off to the side. That's really the most memorable moment before his death that we can talk about, and sorry if it's spoilers for his death, but he's a Carmine. He started this entire curse pretty much. So that's really all you get. He doesn't have a lot of vocal lines or anything as you go. For instance, further on, you get to Cole and Baird and all them. He wasn't around for that, because at that point, he was he was gone. So we get to the point where they're fighting off in front of the area they're supposed to go to at the time so they can continue on to look for the resonator. And what happens next is they have a bit of lull time at the moment when they're prepping and they're in cover and everything. And well, here we go, talking about his death. Anthony sits there and he can't really get his Lancer to fire because he keeps jamming it. He can't get it correctly. His reloading is off. He can't do it. So he brings it up to Kim, because Kim's there with him at the time, because Kim's still around at this point, and he's just trying to get it, trying to fire, and he can't get anything. He keeps beating on it, and then he says, the damn thing can't fire. Take a look what's wrong. And of course, he gets up, like the position I'm in now from my couch, and in the original, it was a Grenadier with a sniper. In the new one, in the Ultimate Edition, it was a sniper Locust, which I'm going to take the Ultimate for being the canonical stuff for right now, just because it's just a remaster and you get to play the chapter you can only get on PC. He gets shot right in the head. He's down, he's dead, right in the temple, blows out the side. So that's the down thing about Anthony is we didn't get him for a lot of time, and really he was, like his name implies, Carmine, which is a type of red. He was a red shirt. He was meant to die. He wasn't meant to be around for a long time. And that's where Anthony is pretty much finished off. His story is, obviously his story's done. He's dead. But some little tidbit things you learn about Anthony later on in a lot of things, like for instance, background stuff, or you learn here and there, or you learn in 5 when you I believe you do find his helmet in 5, is that he went to school and everything. He went to all of the stuff you need to become a soldier. He went to boot camp. And among all of his classmates even, he was marked down as most likely to get shot. And it's really ironic because that's exactly how he went, and he got shot all right. He was the first of the original Delta Squad to die. And then Kim followed suit, and then, back and forth. We got Baird and Cole now and then. But he was the very first character that we really knew that had a name and everything, and we got to at least somewhat know that died. He was pretty much to mark that, yeah, named characters are going to die. He had a helmet on and everything, because that's what the Carmines prefer, is wearing not even their full getup, but wearing their helmets, because they see that more as, it has filtration, it has pretty much a visor inside of it. Not a visor like you have in Halo, but it keeps your eyes secure. All that. That's why the Carmines like to wear their helmets, because they see it as a very beneficial thing. And then you learn later on in 2, when Baird and Dom are talking about the helmets and how it has a filtration system inside of it, Dom pretty much brings up yeah, but I can't let you see when someone's firing at you that well. Referencing Anthony and how Anthony ended up getting shot right in the head, because one thing to blame is if he didn't have his helmet on, he probably would have had a better time looking around, though with the angle he was shot, I don't think he would have seen it coming anyway. But yeah, I mean, he's memorized. He's tattooed onto Cole. He is tattooed onto Clayton's arm. There we go. I can't even talk. But he's right there with Ben, and that's another theory people have, just saying oh, then D must still be alive. He's not on his arm. I've talked about the D stuff in another video. You can go and watch that all you want. But he's on his arm. Clay very much valued his brothers. The Carmines are a very heavily family-based family, pretty much. They very much value having each other. I'm guessing when Lizzie did die in 5, Clayton did not take that too well. He very much went into a rage when he learned about Anthony and Ben, and he's never going to see him again. It is stated that he suffers from pretty heavy anger because of those two being dead, and he takes it out on the Locusts. If Anthony would still be alive, though, I mean, there could have been a moment where he comes across Clay if they both made it all the way through 3, where he comes across Clay just to tell him how's it going, or they could both sit there and mourn over Ben. Because Anthony, again, we didn't get a lot, but he did care about his family. It's stated by Clay on the tattoo even, Ben talking about everything. You know, Anthony he cared. Like I said, there's not a lot to go on with this one. Anthony Carmine. One game we got him, much like a normal Carmine, but we didn't even get that much from him. He didn't even make it through, I think, the first act of the game he didn't make it out of. Like, so that's the problem. Like, Ben, he made it through like half the game before he went. Lizzie, again, that's another short one. She made it to the first act. End of that, she's gone. Gary, end of the first act for him too. He was gone. He didn't even appear at the beginning of the game. He appeared like towards the very end of the first act. Fredo you never saw. William had maybe like 3 pages in the comics is all he had. Yeah, pretty much the Carmines in a nutshell. You're gonna die within an axe range. Alright, I just had to look it up too to figure out a few more things about Anthony, because again, I had so much to talk about for Anthony, I could keep this video going. No, I had to look up a few things. For instance, 2 things that came up. One, I was reminded, also on Clay's armor, aside from the tattoo he has, is pretty much keep your head down, which is pretty much a nod over to Anthony because, again, he got up, got shot in the head. He did not keep his head down. And then I did have to look up and see the information on his helmet because I remember you do find memorabilia involving Anthony in 5. What you find is his helmet. You find both him and his brother's helmet during the campaign. With Ben's, you can definitely see some erosion over time, but with Anthony's, it's a lot more, you can see a lot more of how he went because I remember originally seeing in the game, he gets shot in the temple. Although I do believe I might be wrong because the helmet, along with the zombie skin in 4, show that he's missing an area of his helmet and obviously his eye right here, implying that he got shot right here in the eye, in his head, and there, in his zombie skin, a major blowout in the back. There's like nothing there. So it's implied that he would have got shot face first through the eye and through the back of the head. So with the full armor, him having his helmet, he possibly could have seen that coming and gotten out of the way. Anthony could still be around. Now, the Carmines don't have a lot of luck, as we've said, so I don't really know how long Anthony would have had and how he would have made it. Again, if he would have made it to the end of 3, him and Clay, they would be able to be like, you know, this is all we have left of our family, you, me, and if Dee's still alive. Also, it would have been the first time we ever would have seen 2 Carmines on screen together. The first time we ever saw that, like, canonically in front of us was when Lizzie was with Clay in 5. That was the very first time we've ever seen 2 Carmines on screen together. I would have really enjoyed seeing all the Carmine brothers together at one point. Like, if the Carmines wouldn't have died and all of them would have come together at once. I would have played a DLC all about the Carmine brothers together. Like, imagine that. Before the war starts, you're playing as the Carmines. You know, like, there's a story about, like, they're being attacked and all 4 of them are fighting off in a squad. That would have been amazing. But we're probably never going to get that unless, you know, the Coalition decides to make DLC that's story-based. Anyway, that's going to do it for Anthony. I can't think of a single thing else I can talk about with him. Ben's going to be a little bit of a bigger subject, because Ben was around for, compared to a lot of Gears, I think the second longest. Like, it was him, and then Clay was around the longest, because he's still alive today. Thank you guys for watching. This has been another Gear Talk. I'm going to try getting these out when I can, normally on Thursdays. You guys have a great one. Like, comment, subscribe, view the store, view the Patreon, view all that. This is where I get everything talked about. This is where I finish up my spiel. You guys have a great one. See you next time.